Yes, I know what you're thinking. This theme music starts up, and somewhere a lowly robotic foot soldier is leaking lubricant from one single eye. As he realizes in horror he's going to be horribly destroyed over 900 times in the course of maybe 2 hours. But what can you do, right? I mean, we're not going to have some kind of Isaac Asimov existential arguments about robots and the morality of them. We're just the turtles who are going to put them out of their misery. But that being said, good evening. Welcome to the stream. We're here to have some fun. And I haven't decided who's going to be my first here. But let's head to channel 6 and we'll pick one. Yeah, so did a late stream just to get a little more into Final Fantasy last night, and to kind of make up for the fact that I streamed it the night before and the sound was abysmal. Still kind of changing things here and there just to make sure that I can actually... You know what? Zach was actually really good. I'm gonna try him just to make sure I can actually have a quality stream video after the fact. So yeah, so far the EQing stuff has been working okay, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see, because God only knows what happens when I hit the go live button. Hello STP, good to see ya. We've got a 11-year-old boy as our character this time. Hopefully you're having a good go at staying cool. It was another hot one today. We're getting our air conditioner replaced Monday, so they say, but by then it'll be, I think it's supposed to rain for like 3 days, so we might not need it. Of course, it's always the case. We're like asking the landlord, like, when are you gonna do it? Like, it's getting hot in here. And then they get it, and then we don't need it, and then we look like jerks. No, that's not true. We don't look like jerks. Don't ever think you're a jerk for asking your landlord to upkeep the land that they lord over. I'm just doing a little dance just to tease him while I drink coffee one-handed. And you might ask, why would you be drinking hot coffee if you're complaining about the heat with no AC? And that's an excellent question. It's because I have a problem. It's because I have a problem with addiction. Also, a late night coffee kind of helps me from having one of my tired mumble streams, which, going back and looking at, I'm realizing is a problem. I'm just sitting here being like, I don't Richard Gere. Been playing Final Fantasy IV a lot. I'm glad the a lot followed that, and you didn't have any criticisms of it. I don't want to lead you astray with any of my recommendations. I just figure it's kind of the last classic of that series, like in the realist sense of like pure just turn-based, you know, kind of mechanics of the game. But it plays pretty good. It still holds up. Like the last playthrough I had, I was actually very surprised that I still enjoyed it as much as I did, because it had been years and years since I had last played it. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, Zach is nice and fast. I have a tea addiction. Now, is T code for heroin? I'm pretty sure the Rolling Stones used that as a euphemism for heroin. Actually, on I believe it's the record for Let It Bleed, on the back of the sleeve, where they say like, oh, produced by so and so, and you know, mixed here by so and so, and then there's Tea and Happiness by this guy, and it's like a weird nickname. So it's like, oh man, that guy's their fucking drug dealer for sure. I have one problem, I'm stuck. Whereabouts are you? I recall there being a few parts that I got kind of confused at. Had to look it up. And we'll get the pizza. It's more an action RPG with the attack meter. Whee! I like Final Fantasy IV in that you get to play all the characters. Like, it's kind of in a way that there's a ton of characters, but you don't have a massive amount to choose from. It's just like, these are your characters for right now, and you're gonna use them. So that way they don't really go to waste, but also in that way they kind of have to make them useful. You know, there's a lot of games where it's like, what's, you know, great, we've got this character that does this or that, but what's the point? Damn it, his music is gone again. I'm gonna see if there's like an update to this, and that's fixed some of the problem. At the part in the desert after the Kraken cave. Trying to think of that. Fuck, it's been... Now that I'm thinking about it, there's only like a few things that I like clearly remember about it. And I keep trying to think, but I'm actually thinking about stuff from Mystic Quest, which is not... It is not that game. It is a very different game. Yeah, I too am considering just sleeping on the porch tonight. The tent seems like a good idea, but it'll block all the wind, so it's actually just like a little hot spot. Oh, maybe, yeah. Yeah, considering our options to survive another 2 nights. I only have 3 people, a bard, the little girl, and the main captain. Okay, I think I remember that part. So it's like a couple dungeons in. I remember finding the girl, and she's like really powerful magic user and stuff, and you're like, oh man, we totally wasted her family. Now I'm responsible. I'm having feelings and second thoughts about our genocide, man. Whoa. You know, I was thinking about using him because he was a quick, fast character. I forgot about the fact that his audio is really annoying. Yeah. So, buckle in or just mute me. I mean, it can't be any worse than listening to me talk. This is totally one of those episodes in a cartoon that was quite frequent at the time you know, 80s and 90s, it was a lot of superhero and action and stuff kind of content. So generally there'd be an episode where it's some young annoying kid that thinks they too can be a vigilante. And they're very like 90s. Holy shit. And they gotta be like, dude, don't be a bad dude. And he's like, I'm the best. And they have to like bail him out of crazy situations. But then in the very end, they'll somehow get captured. And then it's up to, in this case, young Zack. You know, the standard. The standard for an 80s cartoon. A 10-year-old saves the day to make 10-year-olds everywhere feel like they can do anything if they just follow their dreams. And stock mutant turtles that live in the sewers so you can learn their moves. Been playing Smash Ultimate. Oh yeah. A bit jealous. I wanna get a Switch and be good. Be a good little gamer and just come into the 20th century. I've been murdered. That's not great. Losing 2 lives in the first level here, but maybe we can stretch this out. Are the levels fine? Is like the mic overloading or anything, or is the music too loud? Let me know now before I get like 3 hours in. Forgetting things is a part of being a parent. The prepping to dig in for bedtime is a routine, but it never gets easy because there's always a thrashing baby involved. Let's go street. Now I realize this also might be difficult, but if we get the toughies out of the way, the toughies, I'm coming down with a taste of the toughies. I don't know what that's about. Don't ask questions. The #1 rule of Shell Club is please don't ask any questions. Unless they're like, why are you so funny and handsome? And the answer is, because you muted the sound so you can't hear my commentary, and I don't have a cam so you don't know what I look like. But thank you for trying. I always appreciate the flattery. I've been trying to main Robin and Simon Belmont. Yeah, Simon's is like the Belmont play style and mechanics are really fun. I love that it's a game that there's just so many different play styles. Like even if it's like, oh, this character kind of plays like this and this character like plays the same, you know, like that obviously is gonna happen. It's like it's this type of character with just a sprite swap kind of thing. But the amount of variety that they have even within that is just crazy. And also this game, I can say very similarly, is just completely insane. Even the characters that do have the similar kind of like statistics and everything, the attacks are different. There's all these little nuances. It's fucking nuts. Yeah, I know I mentioned this last night, but trying to get out and do an adult thing and getting all the way to Zyla's with the baby and then taking one sip of beer and realizing that we're both sick from heat stroke and drinking beer is not enjoyable, nor is being out where there's music being played. It was just such a heartbreak. You look like a hipster. That's the meanest thing anyone's ever said, but it's probably true. It's hard not to these days because they're just They've taken over everything. They've co-opted, I know I use that word a lot, but they've co-opted a lot of everything that I just always was. And that's the worst part, is that it sounds like I'm saying, like, I did this or liked this or looked like this before it was cool, but like I fucking legitimately did. And they took that being able to tell the truth about who I am and what I look like. I can't even say that, yeah, I've been doing this for years. Like, what do you want? When people like them were making fun of me for looking the way that I do, and then they all dress like me. It's incredibly frustrating. But if you look closer, I'm dirtier than them. I'm generally just scragglier and dirtier than them. Just a little more unkempt, probably kind of stinky. More so with the baby because he pukes on me. Yeah, you know, like collecting vinyl. I was doing that when I was in high school, when vinyl was literally 25 cents. Now it's like buying used records for 20 bucks. Same thing, like collecting retro video games and stuff. Like, I never got rid of mine. They got stolen, some of them, but... Oh, I'd really like to have a Nintendo and just put it up on the wood carapace where we keep the new Arabian coffees that we just imported. The hipster thing that bugs me is that it's like most of the culture comes from being millennials and having money to spend somehow, but like dressing and acting like you're like regular poor people. That angers me because it's like you're trying to look like the people that you're pushing out of your neighborhoods with your stupid condos. Sorry, I'm just a little sore on it. We've lost a lot of venues to really shitty, like, trendy restaurant spots that we can't afford to eat at. So it's like these places, you know, the place that I met Justine for the first time. She was working there and I would play there probably like at least once a week. That's gone. Both those places are gone. And we walk by. So, okay, so King William Street was a pretty, not notorious street, but like known in the arts community as like, this is like the Strip. Like, it was like the crazy place. It wasn't out of line on a summer evening to like be walking down to go to Baltimore House or Absinthe or Homegrown to go check out some crazy shows and see like there's somebody twirling fire out on the street and there's also like a magician and there's just like wild stuff going on. Like, that was the kind of weird thing. And then like, oh, this place, they're having an aerials display, and this one is like a hip-hop concert, but they're playing with the LGBTQ drum circle group, you know, like just that kind of crazy shit, all mismatched and everything. And now all those places are gone except for Absinthe, which is for sale, but they are kind of like a metal bar. They focus on a lot of metal, but they have a lot of like 90s nights and stuff like that. And then the reason they stay in business is because they have a night that they call Motown, but they don't really play Motown music anymore. It was just they used to, and now it's a gross place where all the worst kinds of people go. So, now that that's the only place that's left on that street, it's all these like fancy restaurants with all these like Toronto girls that move here and then complain about here. You know, it's like, oh, the city doesn't have anything and it's gross. Then, like, I know you got pushed out of your place, but why don't you go back there, please? I don't want you here. So we were walking by, and on one side of the street is the Absinthe, and on the other side is like 4 or 5 restaurants all in a row, where it's like, you know, $40 a plate kind of shit. And all these people are drinking like Shiraz, and it's like, the shows are starting at Absinthe. So there's a metal band just playing like crazy thrash, like just hardcore stuff, and just scream singing and double kick pedal drum, just loud. And they've got the doors and everything open, and it's just blasting directly at all these people trying to have dinner and wine in the sunset. And like the look on this girl's face, oh my, it embodied everything that I want to make happen, because she was just so like hashtag yuck, like just this gross face, like just and it made me so happy. So just walking by, I was just seeing all these people like with like disgruntled faces and kind of like laughing and looking over and being like, ooh, like who even goes to that? And I just kind of like didn't try and quietly say it under my breath. I was like, have fun trying to enjoy your dinner, you yuppie scum. And whatever, that's mean. I'm sorry. And I know I try and promote like don't hate people and stuff, and I'm sure there might have been one nice person there. I don't know, but I hold those types of people responsible for what's happening in our city, because we're losing our arts community in a crazy gentrification shitstorm, and it just seems more and more likely that the city just is gonna let this happen. So that's my rant for tonight. I'm sorry. Just like losing our spaces, losing venues, losing our neighborhoods, you know, like our landlord's selling our place. So we gotta move away from like downtown, and this was where everybody lived and worked and played, and now everyone's just like, I don't want to have to leave the city. We can't even afford that. So what do? We drink coffee after 9, and we play Ninja Turtles, motherfucker. That's how adults deal with their problems. All right, yeah. Digital escapism at its finest. Nah, we'll be fine. I'm excited for when I come out. This is like my goal. This is like my best case. Like, these are my goals. I'm gonna come out of school. The business is gonna be doing well. We're gonna be making some money, and we're gonna be able to put money away to like buy a house, and then I can start going to these awful restaurants and being like, you know, if the business is successful, then I can be that rich guy that like disrupts the rich people's status quo. You know, like fucking Elon Musk. Even though, like, you know, I'm not saying like I'm a huge Elon Musk fan. There's a lot that I do like about him. I like a lot of the things that he's trying to do with his company, because he's just like, let's just fucking do it. I've got all the money in the world. Let's just do this thing. Let's make all cars electric. Let's fucking go to Mars. Whatever. Like, let's get into space. And he just literally just throws money at stuff just to do it. And like, people don't like that he's like smoking pot on the Joe Rogan show and stuff, and he kind of has some unhinged tweets every once in a while, but that's the kind of rich person that I like. I don't like the unhinged tweets of Donald Trump. I like the unhinged tweets. Well, not all of them. He said some weird shit about those guys that tried to rescue those kids in the cave, because he wanted to be the guy that rescued the kids in the cave. I don't know if anybody remembers that, but there was like a Thai soccer team that went into some cave, and then all of a sudden they got trapped in there, all this water. So all these divers were figuring out how to try and get them out, and Elon Musk was like, I'll build a submersible to get them. but he couldn't do it in time, so this British diver was part of the team that went and got them. And then Elon Musk started tweeting that the guy was a pedophile. Like, very bizarre, like, questionable choices, you know. But his solar roof looks awesome. But yeah, I want to be able to do that. Just like have enough wealth to just like go into these rich people locations and just be that person that's like, I'm so rich that you can't really deny me the things that I'm asking here. And I'm going to be nice to the staff, but it's going to piss off the people who are here because they're like, oh, excuse me, this is $1,200 a plate. It's like, oh man, I'll buy 6. I'll bring my friends. Like, we'll pump some Leonard Skinner and I'll ask if they have any Bud Light, even though like that, oh, King Ralph. That's like an old 80s movie where John Goodman is like just some fat sleazeball, but he finds out somehow that he's like connected to royalty, so he's he like gets this massive inheritance, and he's just like some American schmo dirtbag kind of guy. Oh wow, oh this is crazy. He's like funneling beer and running around carrying a scepter, that kind of situation. Or trading places without having someone like lose all their wealth and their friends and respect and everything, like Dan Aykroyd's character did. But just the Eddie Murphy parts, where we've been so broke for so long that we're just so happy to have endless amounts of money and we just do ridiculous things with it. That I'm excited for. Also just like having a home that belongs to us, so we take care of it instead of relying on other people that it's not financially viable for them to take care of it because they need to make profits, like a property management place. Oh, Zachary, you're cutting it close, boyo. Whoa. Oh shit. His running jump is really good.
I'm sorry.
Oh shit. I meant to do the special. I missed. Hey, mister. You mister. Alright, one dino down. Almost. Oh, fuck. For some reason, I thought I had this special. But... yeah! 2 for the price of go. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So, now we've got 5 lives. Let's go to the beach. Nice short level. We can fuck this shark boss up pretty good. Especially with a quick character. I was kind of hoping that we wouldn't lose that second life there, but I think we'll be okay. We lucked out with Metalhead the other night. I did not get the bonus stages that I wanted towards the end, and I ended up beating the final boss with 1 life left. It's cutting it a little bit close. I clenched my butt cheeks so hard that I made glacial ice. Yeah, I know, it doesn't make any sense, but it happened just because of physics. Physics of the Impossible by Michio Kaku. This is a book that I own. It's on my bookshelf. Just underneath the TV. because it's a record stand slash retro video game console stand slash I keep a bunch of my books there. It's in my like science weird section with like books on like genetic experiments and I've got like Guns, Germs, and Steel, which is like a postulating about like civilization and humanity, and it's like an anthropology textbook basically. But it's incredibly interesting. I'm a very dull boy who likes to read weird books about things, but it makes me more interesting. It's like someone's like, hey, did you see America's Next Top Model last night? And I was like, did you know that the Rapa Nui were built by the Moai and they cannibalized themselves, and there were other tribes that came from other I don't know, I'm literally just throwing words together, but it is kind of crazy when you look at maps of like Polynesian islands that are so isolated, like somewhere like Easter Island or something like that. How the fuck did people get there and make a civilization? That's so mind-blowing. Those little crazy rafts with a sail, those Maori type civilizations from what, like 5,000 years ago? Maybe a little less than that. And then they're like, what the hashtag yuck? The fuck are you even talking about? Like, right. You eat at the French, don't you? Enjoy your meals, yuppie scum. So to bring it back to your hipster comment, I mean, I guess realistically there is the true type of hipster that legitimately did like, I liked this band before they were cool, and I did these things before everybody else turned it into a fashion statement and everything. Same thing was with the hippies, man. Same thing was with everybody, you know, it wasn't a uniform. There were very different types of people that kind of started the hippie culture, and before it became like a movement to belong to something but not actually affect change. A very excellent book on that exact phenomenon and subject matter is Tom Wolfe's book, The Electric Kool-Aid Acid Test. It is fucking so good. Just follows Ken Casey and his band of merry pranksters around on their adventures, just drinking gallons of orange juice spiked with acid on their electric painted bus. And then they buy a cabin in the woods and start just putting microphones everywhere so they can make like an experiential movie that is just ambient sounds captured all the time, and then they hang around with the Grateful Dead for a while, and it's rad. If you like anything about that, or if you don't know much about what really went down in the 60s other than what you see like on Visa commercials appealing to fucking aging boomers, which is that's not hippies. Get this book and find out what the deal was. It's amazing. Ken Casey basically he like started doing tests. He was some of the first people that were doing the military testing, or being tested on by the military, the acid and stuff, just to see what happened. So that was his first trip. He didn't know they were giving him acid. So then he got a job as a medical assistant at one of the labs so that he could steal the acid. And he started giving it to people. So like, oh fuck. Which, like, the balls on that guy to do something like that. This is not going as well as it should. There we go. Managed to polish that turd. But yeah, just, you know, there was just so much lying around and they were just kind of like, yeah, whatever. So, like, they had tons of it. And he was responsible for moving it around, so he would just take some. And then he'd have it, and they'd have parties, and he'd just give it to people, and then he kind of like built up a culture around himself and doing acid, and that's how that shit started out on the West Coast during the mid-60s. Which is hilarious. If anybody doesn't know, Ken Casey was an author who wrote One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And he had a follow-up novel that wasn't nearly as well received. Can't remember what it was called, but it was about like a logging strike in like Oregon or something, where like the workers union was like striking, and the main character is actually somebody who like doesn't necessarily agree with them. So it's like this weird kind of point of view that you wouldn't necessarily expect. I don't know. I've never actually read that one, but I would like to, just to kind of see more about, you know, what this guy's brain was about. So, you know, further on about that, like, you know, he was a medical assistant stealing all this military grade LSD. He also had a job as a night clerk or like a security guard or something at like a psychiatric ward. So he wrote his first book, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, while he was there working in a psych ward at night and taking acid. He would drop acid because there was nobody around. He's the security guard. And he'd just like drop acid and write his book about the experiences of like meeting some of the patients and some of the nurses and stuff, which the book is about. You know, some guy going to a psych ward to avoid jail. He pleads insanity. And he's kind of like, what? Like, this is fucked. But then, like, he starts kind of getting in with the people, and the nurses in the establishment there don't really like that he's there kind of trying to help the spirits of these people. And yeah, so it's very, very interesting. So there's your literary homework for this evening. Tom Wolfe's Electric Kool-Aid Acid Test, and also if you so desire, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, also very good. I haven't really had time to read any fiction books lately. I've kind of been mostly like reading business and mentality of business, or like selling or marketing or whatever, just to kind of be like, okay, I'm spending my time reading and self-improving. I'm investing, you know, in myself, because this is stuff that I need to be very familiar with for the business stuff. And that's fine. I don't want to completely lose my fiction addiction either, though. There's a large stack of backed up books that I need to read as well. Okay, still got all those books from The Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan. Again, if you like anything about fantasy, it's high fantasy books, and it's modern Tolkienism, where the guy just creates such a believable world and such a huge sweeping epic story. And I think there's like 13 books, 13 or 14 books. I read the first 3 and started the 4th one, and then just got busy, which makes my heart sad. But I gotta find some time eventually to just read and relax. Read stuff that I just can have fun with. It doesn't have to be learning all the time. I need to kind of rediscover that. Pizza boy. Ah. So if I just do these long ass jumps like this and just kind of keep moving. Whoop. Oh no! You froze my tiny boy! Alright, let's get rid of Stinko Breath first here. Ooh! Oh man, it's got good reach for a turtle. Snapping turtle. Whoop! They're pretty fast too. I imagine they, I can't really remember. I think I liked playing as Toka. He did pretty good on the outing I gave him. Woo! Oh. Okay, just me and you, Stinky. I don't know why that was like so hard to get out. Heat stroke, melting my brain in irreparable ways. Woo! Woo! You know, I was pretty mad about the audio stuff the other night. Not just because it's like, well, there it goes, it's happened again. But also I felt like there was like some good stuff I was ranting about in terms of creating. You know, the idea of providing content as a service and as value to other people. It was just kind of like, you know, a piss off, because I was like, I felt like I made some pretty good points, like some things that I wish somebody would have been telling me, you know, a long time ago, so that I would feel like I could be doing this or whatever. And you know, the idea of like needing to have your stuff be liked and everything, and fearing that you're not getting to a big enough audience and that kind of stuff. And you know, the reality of just find the right audience. Having a niche audience is probably better than having a wider audience. So whatever you had to do to get that wider audience is probably a waste, because not everybody that gets access to it is gonna like it. It's like, if you're gonna create something, make it exactly what you want it to be. Because if you can find those right people, they'll become rabid fans of yours, and they'll appreciate that you're making something that's true. It's something that you see happen a lot. I think, well, I hate to keep bringing up the Black Keys, but they're the perfect example. They had a very specific starting point. You know, their roots were exactly what they wanted to do, and then their newer albums were very much a disappointment to the original fans, but they had broader appeal. But it, you know, and they had huge success at one point, but it's kind of tapered off a bit, you know. And now they've got this new album, and they want to get back to their roots and stuff. They've talked about it, but you know, people are just kind of like meh. They're fans that, you know, would have died for them before, like, you know, you kind of left us hanging, man. Like, I'm not really interested. And then the people that they sold out to get access to are like, ew, hashtag yuck. So was any of it worth it? They've got a ton of money, so cool for them, but they may have squandered their chance to make music for people in the way that they wanted to, you know. So something to think about, people. Something to think about. So yeah, you want to be a streamer, you want to be a content creator, you want to make music, you want to paint pictures, you want to do whatever. You know, your value and your service is what you do honestly and that you are passionate about. So oh, hi. Whee! Nice jump, boy. God, that jump is crazy. The dash jump. I feel so limitless. Like that boy who takes the pills and becomes limitless. What's that movie? Nightmare Before Christmas. No. It come to me. Woo. Oh, all right. Ever need to get from building to building? Just call your neighborhood boy. Nope, don't. That's not how that should be taken. Don't stab me. Only I can stab you. I do the stabbing around here. Shit. Whoa. I'm kind of hoping that as I go on this whole series of trying to beat it with as many characters as I can, I just get a bit better so that I can beat with some of the tougher characters. That'd be nice. I think I am gonna try something else on Monday, or maybe just like, fuck, why would I do that? Just to kind of shake things up a little bit. It's been just these two games. Fuck. I was kind of hoping I could do that on One Life, but yeah, it's been just these two games back and forth, so I don't know. I'm gonna be getting like some of the screwdriver sets, like I think it's, what is it, like 3.8 millimeter and 4.5 millimeter or something like that, so you can like open up your game consoles and cartridges, because like I've got a few old cartridges, but they are definitely not cleaned, and I don't want to stick them in my Nintendo. You don't put dirty cartridges in your Nintendo. That's how you wreck your 72-pin connectors. they'll get that dirt. It's like an STD. Dirt in your cartridges goes into your Nintendo, and then all of a sudden all the games you play have lines down them and they flicker and shit. So I want to give everything a nice solid clean. Get that shit rocking. And try out some of these new games that I got. I'm pretty excited. I think spending a night or two on the original DuckTales and then playing through the remastered DuckTales to kind of do like a back-to-back. Again, I used to be pretty good at DuckTales. Hello! Nice to see you again. I was pretty good at DuckTales. Like I was running it maybe a year or two ago. Just because I was like, I had finally gotten a copy of it, so fuck yes. So I was playing it a lot, and then I was playing it again recently, probably a couple months ago, and I couldn't beat the rat boss on the moon. Everything else, I was like, I had all my shit back, I knew all my moves, and then it was the rat boss on the moon that I forgot how to beat, and it was really pissing me off. Because I was like, had all the levels memorized to maximize the treasure and even get like the secret treasures. And then I'd do that level last, and then I'd fuck it up and get a game over and have to start again, and I was getting really pissed. So I think that'd be fun. And it'd be like a short thing. It's like 2 games, but it's basically the same game. The remastered version of DuckTales came out for like PS3 and the other systems and stuff, and it was a really good job that they did. They added some cinematic stuff, and well, it's more just like dialogue between the characters and kind of clean it up. And they got the original voice actors from the DuckTales cartoon in the 80s. So it's like Launchpad McQuack and Scrooge McDuck saying all his things, and the Beagle Boys, and everyone's there. So even what's his name?
Okay, partner.
Like I know Gizmo Duck, but what was his name? Fuck. Something Quackscythe or something like that? I can't fucking remember. If you want a little DuckTales trivia, there was, as I was talking earlier about how like every show was about, you know, being superheroes and shit, there was just that superhero phase where every cartoon had to be about a group of superheroes, and you'd sell the action figures and toys and stuff like G.I. Joe, Transformers, and everything like that. So naturally, DuckTales was like, well, let's try and capture that market. So they had a mini series like 5 episodes, so basically a movie, to introduce this guy. He was like a lame-o, like accountant for Scrooge McDuck or something. And he accidentally goes into one of Gyro's inventions, which is like a super robot suit, and he becomes Gizmo Duck. So now he's like this new robotic super duck in Duckburg. And some crazy shit happens, and they beat the Beagle Boys and stuff, and he's become a new hero in town, and then aliens come and steal the money bin, put it into space, so they have to go after it. It gets pretty crazy, but fuckers. There we go. So he's out of the way. I like that, because this guy just kind of does the same thing over and over again.
Making my horns hurt.
It's a weird thing to say to a kid, but okay. Are you enjoying this fine weekend, STP? Do you have any plans for Canada Day? I assume so, you being an American and all. You guys, I know how you guys love your Canada Day festivities. We went to the grocery store just before I started streaming because we were like, okay, well, we're not going to be able to get anything tomorrow because it'll be Sunday and we're going to like a big barbecue party outdoor concert at my friend's house, and obviously it'll be closed on Monday because Monday's July 1st and that's Canada Day, so then that's Tuesday that we'll have to wait to get groceries. And so we went to the grocery store. It was closed at 7 for Canada Day hours. They had holiday hours all weekend. And like obviously the one day's closed. And it really is like just so that people can go and party and get drunk. Like everybody, it's just understood. Canada Day isn't so much about patriotism. I mean, there's a patriotism for what we have now, not so much like the history of our country. Fuck! Ugh. It's just the fact that we like that we live here now, and we have, you know, a pretty good situation. You don't even get a life for every guy that you kill? That's fucking bullshit. This is the worst. I hate this so much. Fuck! Ma. Jesus. What a pile of shit. Okay, so that didn't quite go how maybe we would have wanted it to. Let's get Dimension X out of the way. And then maybe the dojo. And then we'll do... I'm scared that something stupid like that's gonna happen and we're not gonna get enough lives, but... What? Fuck. As much as I want to play as the turtles, it is a fun game, but load that game. I hope nothing fucks up. I was just so overly eager to get back on that action. So this is confusing. There's two characters named Zach. And all these guys have guns, but their jump kind of sucks. I think she's actually usable, but these two guys kind of suck. Which is too bad, because I was pretty excited when it was like, oh, the rad teenagers from Dimension X. I always liked them because they had like a cool robot car and they'd always come and be like, whoa, everything's radical. You know, we were easy to impress back in the 80s, but also we were dumb children. How many fucking hits do these guys take with them? Is that like 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Jesus, okay. So, we know that now. let's have a little more caution, I guess. But yeah, Canada Day is... It's not like a holiday about patriotism, but it is about national pride. And I think there is a bit of a difference in that. Patriotism is kind of almost like a zealous flag waving. Like, America is very patriotic. Like, you know, those people that claim they're patriots, and you're kind of like, you're scaring me, Ted. Patriotism is a form of zealousness that could be, you know, almost antagonistic in its very celebratory or like, you know, celebration of it, you know. Whereas national pride is done in more of a like welcoming sense. Like, I don't get the sense that at too many 4th of July celebrations you could be an outsider and still be like as welcomed, whereas like Canada Day, many Canada Day parties I've had experiences where it's like the people that are hosting or whatever, like you get to meet somebody who's like, yeah, like I'm from this other country on the other side of the planet, and so you see everybody being very welcoming to them and going out of their way to just be like, yeah, like, you know, this is what we do on Canada Day, like, you know, do you guys have a day like this? Like, what do you guys do? And like actually like asking them, fuck. Which is cool, because it's like, it's not it's not their day, but the people that we're with on Canada Day want to have them be an inclusive part of it in the most welcoming way possible. And I think that's probably the best representation of this country and what we're about here and what we celebrate as a nation. Being welcoming and friendly to people who, you know, just like, no matter who you are. Oh, you're not from here? Well, like, can I get you a beer? Do you have anything to drink? Like, that's the first question. And then it's usually the second question is like, want to smoke this hash with us? That's generally how Canada Day goes. You'll be hard pressed to find a Canada Day celebration that doesn't quite have that happening. Hey, you're not from here. Can I get you a beer? Do you want to smoke this hash? And that's something to say fuck I love this country about. Absolutely. So yeah, that's the thing that makes me want to wave a flag and get drunk with my friends and sing our national anthem. Be like, fuck yeah, we're nice to people. Most of the time. We're not, I mean, anything under a magnifying glass, you're gonna see some flaws, obviously. We're not perfect, but for the most part, we do a pretty good job. And I don't want to get into the geopolitical or social problems that we have here, because we have many. But I'd rather use this platform to brag about how nice we are. Anthrax. Pass the anthrax. This sounds like somebody purposely saying it wrong. Woo, yeah! No! I'm excited to just chill outside and have a few beers with some friends. That's gonna be awesome. It's like I said, I've been aching to just do adult hangs. Just like hang with some other adults in a situation that isn't our kids are friends, so let's sit while they play and then eventually get in a fight and then we have to break it up and then you guys have to leave. I would love that. It's like I said, we finally had that that opportunity, and then just so happened, just wasn't meant to be. And that's okay too. I also know that I've done more than my fair share of partying and drinking and being a quote adult. But also, just because you're a parent doesn't mean that it's like, well, that's the end. You know, you still gotta take care of yourself in terms of being a social human. I like this. I can't let this go. You snapper. Turtles. I like turtles. Whoa. Yeah. Pizza rules, dude. I feel like it hasn't even been that long since I ate a pizza. Probably like a week. But I still just like, man, it's been so long. Like I have that feeling of like, oh, I haven't had pizza in like forever. I feel like my general persona time travels on a regular basis throughout the day. Because it's like, I'll be like, oh, let's talk about, you know, physics and time travel, and like, oh, let's have a discussion about the anthropological implications of one civilization crashing headfirst into another and their different development stages and how that, you know, played out in the future world that we see today. And then I'm like, man, all I want to do is drink and eat pizza. And then even further to that, I just want to play retro Ninja Turtles games. I'm a very complex person. Woo!
Prepare to be ground into
The gods of rock. Really awesome boss music. I know I go on ad nauseum about the music in the video games and even this game because I've now played it like 10 times. Or on 10 separate streams.
I'm sorry.
Oh, he broke my brain case wide open. Fuck. Get out of that corner, please. Do as I say, boy, or you're grounded. You'll be robo-grounded. I haven't decided what that means yet, but it sounds pretty bad, doesn't it? Trog. I am Trog from Dimension X. I'm here to take all of the purple objects and somehow put them into a machine to take over the world. Oh, sorry, that's the acclaimed Simpsons game, Bog vs. the Space Mutants. I'm in the wrong game. That is a game that I would like to just revenge beat, just because I owned it, and just getting past the first level is fucking hard enough, you know, like, once you figure out what to do, You still gotta actually do it. Figuring it out is bad enough. Like, it's possible that you can get to the end of the level and it's like, well, you may not be able to beat it because you fucked up on some obscure thing that you had to do. Which, you know, you can say that about a lot of Nintendo games. That's just how it is. NES hard and NES obscure. But then you get to the second level in the mall, and there's a few spots where it's just like insane platforming, and the controls are just so bad that how you'd be able to platform properly is just beyond me. But all right, let's take on that swamp. Oh, we still got the park too. Zoc. He's the Lego maniac. Sorry. You know what? No. I'm not sorry. I'm gonna stop being so apologetic for my terrible jokes. I don't have a team of writers. This is all off the top of my head. I'm doing the best with what I have for your pseudo entertainment. I think I have to learn this. This song is just so goddamn good. Honestly, I think about it all the time. It gets stuck in my head like on an hourly basis. You know, not even just like a matter of will it get stuck in my head today. Once an hour, at least I am singing this song in my head. It's so good. Like all the facets are there. It's so like let's break it down. So we got that. Even for a you know, Nintendo, we've got 8-bit music, right? So the space is limited. I mean, even with Mega Man music, sometimes they didn't really have room for a drum track. Not until some of the later games, right? When they started putting like expansion chips and stuff in. So it's got that, but it's like it's that hi-hat sound. That's really pushing the groove, right? It's keeping it moving forward. That's like the secret sauce in that groove. And then you got the bass line. And then so then all the other stuff is like really awesome, like really funky guitar lines. That's like the basic building blocks of any funky song, you know? Those kinds of elements, like, okay, let's look at the drums. Oh yeah, no, they're doing this. Common in this kind of song. It's got this kind of shuffle going on or whatever. And what are we doing in the bass? Oh yeah, okay. Here we go. What's the guitar player got? Ooh, yeah, that high funky shit. Man, just so good. I would love to do a video just analyzing it and talking about it, but I probably wouldn't be able to. Actually, you know what? If it's video game music, I think we might be able to get away with it because it's like transformative, and if we're able to stream video games without getting the music content claimed, asterisks for the Quick Man theme, apparently. Still haven't heard anything about that, but I'll let you know as soon as that happens. But the fact that it's video game music, we might be able to kind of bypass some of that content ID stuff. That's actually kind of exciting. I didn't even think about that. I mean, well, I was thinking about like, okay, like I'd like to do some videos where, fuck you, I do like covers of me playing all the parts for Mega Man music. Cool, right on. That's a lot of fun. Plus, I get to learn Mega Man music, which I really want to do. But actually having like talking about the video game music, breaking it apart. There's a channel that does that, but in an intense, like you'd have to be a music student. Like the stuff they cover, it's amazing. Like actually, you know what? Recommendation time. If you are a lover or a student of music, check out 8-Bit Music Theory. This guy knows his fucking shit. He's clearly a student of music, like university level, and he breaks down tunes and does analyses of why the music works the way that it does. And there's a lot of series that are just like by game, like because generally like you'll have the composer for the game, so they're writing a certain way and they kind of approach it in a certain way. So like one of the first videos that I saw was him breaking down the music of Chrono Trigger, and there's a very specific technique that the composer uses for the soundtrack, where it's like you're changing chords, but they're not necessarily like, it's not like it's in the same key. And usually when you're, okay, like we're going from one chord to another awkward kind of chord, like, or another chord that shouldn't fit together, you kind of, in the melody, would focus on the notes that these chords have in common. For instance, like if you had an F major to an A minor, like those chords are in the same key, but you know, A minor is A, C, E, and G if you were going for the 7, and then an F major or an F major 7 would be F, A, C, G. So the only one that they don't really have in common is the F. Right? But if you keep going with that and get some of the higher, you know, if you go through the scale of like an F major or A minor, then there's notes that aren't in common. So then generally you would say those are the notes that you more or less would kind of want to avoid, especially when transitioning between the two chords, because then it's pointing out that they're very different. Chrono Trigger does the exact opposite with its musical choices, whereas they really point out that these chords don't transition well into each other, and yet somehow that's why it works. It's a very like almost it creates like the dreamlike kind of atmosphere. It's really interesting. Like I'd have to kind of like look at what he said again, because I can't really remember what exactly the examples that he was using and talking about, but man, like there's one example where it's a very specific chord progression, and the two chords going back and forth have very distinct and different notes in them, and But he's like, yeah, it's really weird that they're actually like accenting these in the melody and making them kind of the main focus of the melody, to show that like it's this weird, out of place kind of melody approach. And that works because it's creating this unsettling atmosphere. You are out of place. You don't belong in this time. So it like works on that kind of metaphorical level. And I was like, dude, wow. I was really blown away. It was an excellent video. And then so I obviously subscribe to the channel, and every once in a while I see a video pop up and I'm like, fuck yeah, give me more knowledge. I like hearing you talk, and I like learning this kind of stuff about music. And then it's also about video games, so it's like ding ding ding. 3 fingers on the G spot. By that I mean something else. It wasn't sex, it was probably music. It was music theory stuff. You guys wouldn't get it. The G string of the guitar. You perverts. Running, 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 running through the dojo. So yeah, I've been strongly advocating this game to any of my friends that I think would be in any way remotely interested. This is, and there's a few, you know, I surrounded myself with a lot of video game kids. Like my one buddy Aaron, I just like sent him the link for the trailer, and just in all caps I was like, did you know about this? Almost like accusing him, even though like he was like, I'm at the cottage right now and we've got limited internet, so I can't watch the video, but like give me the gist. So I explained it to him, and he was like a minute later and he's just like, this is the best news I've ever gotten. It's like goddamn right. Oh, you tigers, you're all the same. Farts. We got this, we got this. Ha 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 ha. You're nothing. You're nothing. King of the jungle. King of my dick. That doesn't... I don't know why I said that. Yeah, I do. Because I felt like it. Okay, and who? So, it looks like it's a golf club. Like, I'm pretty sure he used a golf club or something. Right? Like, in his back? But then when he swings it, it kind of looks like... a towel. Right? Like, it looks like he's just swinging a towel. I was a little confused when I first played through with him, and I was like, it's switching back and forth. Like, he's swinging his towel, which doesn't make any sense, so I don't know why I thought of it as a towel. But then, like, the sprite goes back to, like, sometimes having a golf club. How weird. No, what's weird is that you thought he had a magical combat towel. I mean, even in the cartoon, if that kid was trying to fight crime with a fucking towel, he would have died immediately. Like, suspension of disbelief aside, they still just wouldn't be able to even let that slide. They'd be like, yeah, this kid's in the hospital. He chased an unattainable dream, and he paid dearly. Woo. You fucking robo-scorpions, you're all the same. Whoa! I take my hands off the controls for 1 goddamn second. Oh, damn it. Sorry about that. I just knocked a few things over. Including my happy little phone, on which I use to monitor the feed so that I can make sure that there's no lag or jitter or silly things. My computer, I've got Streamlabs up. Oh shit! Just making sure that everything is still working. Now I'm like paranoiac, obsessive about like, okay, is everything still working? Is this up? Did I change the image over? Did the cat turn off the volume? I mean, I suppose these are all things I should really be concerned of. Obviously, it's not entirely ridiculous, but it's just the number of things that have happened to me over the past, I don't know, maybe like 60? We're probably at like 60. I've uploaded 57 gameplay videos. Now, not all of those are like single nights. So actually we're probably closer to 50. In terms of unique days streamed or whatever. Total. But like I said, I kind of want to plan something for when we get to a specific number, and just to kind of be like, woo! We did it! First 100 streams out of the way. Now time to start making some premium quality content so I can bury these and they can never be seen again because they have been a giant learning experience. Really wish there was a pizza coming my way, but I think I already used it. Fuck. Oh man. Oh man, Mark, man. You play a mean guitar. It's too bad you have to die. Little Empire Records quote for you. You want to know what the most painfully 90s movie is? It's probably that. Painfully, but like, I mean it in a loving way. It's a very like ridiculously over the head 90s movie. It's just so 90s. But what it makes up for in its cheese, or it makes up for what it loses or has the potential of losing with its cheese, it makes up for in its overall accuracy of the 90s. And it's just like goofy, lovable charm. But yeah, Empire Records is a good movie. It's just like a bunch of fucking 90s teens working in a record store. And then they find out that because of one of the employees fucking up and losing a bunch of money, the guy who owns the store is potentially going to sell it. And then they lose their 90s freedom because they'll have to work at a chain of stores. So then they basically try and find ways to fight back and raise the money so that they can work at Empire Records forever. You know, standard shit. But it is enjoyable, and there's lots of silly quotes from it. What? Always avoid the head, always. Shogun heads are not to be trifled with. Oh, farts, come on. There's got to be a way to kind of exploit that. So the head kind of follows you around a bit, but he's slow. So if he's like over here and I run, whoop, and then I get hit because I'm an idiot. Oh, come on. The amount of fireworks going off over the past few nights has been crazy. Just the average kids, I mean, like, around May 2-4, which is Victoria Day weekend, and Labor Day weekend, which is first weekend in September, and then Canada Day. There are an overabundance of corner stores that just sell fireworks and explosives. They're everywhere, and they're so easy to get. And like we've been pretty young. I know they're probably controlling it a bit more strict these days, but we were able to get them when we were younger pretty easily from corner stores and stuff. But it's like constant. As soon as it starts getting dark out, like even a little bit, like the sun might still kind of be up, and you'll hear it. Bop, 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 bop. Okay. Blast every foot soldier in sight. Let's see if I can fucking remember this. Oh shit. I should have just stayed. I should have just stayed. But I think you should leave. Which, oh my god, if you haven't seen that show on Netflix, like, watch it immediately. Oh my god. I think you should leave. Holy shit. It's been a long time since a comedy show has made me laugh so hard that I cried. And that show did it to me maybe 2 or 3 times. It was just so fucking ridiculous. And the episodes are only like, what, 17 minutes? Like not even a full 21, a little less. It's like just enough. You always run that risk of like, let's do like a full show. Let's cram as much as we can into it. This one, they know the limits. And it's like, this is about how much a human might be able to handle and without feeling like they're overloaded with weird or awkward or just cringe, you know? But fuck, is it funny, man. I can't remember the guy's name, but he's great. And the guys from The Lonely Island also worked on it. I think they were producers of it, so I think that tells you all you need to know. That's all the information you need. Yeah. Oh, give me that. Give me some of that action. Actually, thank you for blasting me with that rocket.
It made me able to drink this potion and kill you.
it's great because I don't even need to hit the guys. I just run into them and they... Ha 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 ha. World's strongest boy attacks robo-soldiers in snowy park in summer. Gets a cold and grounded. Zachary, what did I tell you about saving the world? Aw, Mom, say it. I want to hear you say it. Not until after I clean my room and do my dishes. Exactly. Now you get your butt upstairs right now. Sure, she'd have a few other things to say in real life, but... Oh my god, if I found out my kid was a vigilante... Let's, just take a moment. First off, he's still a baby, so... Really, I'd be more amazed than, like, mad. Really? Like, what kind of crime are you fighting? Because you can barely sit up by yourself without assistance. But yeah, no, let's say he becomes a teenager and he's coming home Spider-Man style with like bruises and stuff and saying, oh, I got into a fight, whoopsies, but he's really like battling crime. Oh man. What would you even do? I mean, your obvious instinct is like to protect your kid and everything, and it's a very silly thing to do in real life. You know, I'll say that. It doesn't work like the movies. Where like if someone were to try and get in that vigilante child's way, they'd be considered an obstacle or like, you know, a third-party bad guy where they're like removed from being the bad guy, but they're still getting in the way of our protagonist. It's like, let the 13-year-old go out and fight crime. It's what he's good at. That's like the viewer, the point of view of the viewer, like based on the storytelling, right? You're just like, he's got the tools to do it. Why can't you just believe in him? But like real life, obviously, you'd be like, oh my god, somebody save that child. Like, what a horrible parent you are letting him do this. It's like, I didn't even know. And then they give you that nod and that look. You didn't know? I think that's exactly the problem. Fuck. The judgment. Oh, the judgment is real. Man. So like, even in the simplest matters, people will just give you that fucking look of like, ugh, you're not a good parent. So like, we've got this crazy stroller and you can sit it up. Like it's got a pod and it's got adjustable, so it goes all the way back. But Orion does not like to be all the way back. He wants to be where the action is. He wants to see what's going on. He wants to see you to make sure that you're still there, because again, he does not have object permanence yet. So if you're gone, he's like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, I can't see you, you're gone. This is horrible. So he likes it all the way up. He faces like so that he's practically standing. That's what he wants out of a buggy ride, you know. So there's this crossbar that clips in that's kind of out so that he can like put his hands on it or whatever, but it's also to kind of keep the kid in some way. So he, when he finally gives up and goes to sleep, puts his head on it and like he passes out like a drunk at a bar, or better yet, a drunk on the first row of a roller coaster. That's kind of what he looks like. And so like he'll like drape his face onto it or kind of over it, and he hangs off the edge. That's just how he does it. And he doesn't want to be put back. If you try and force him back, he'll like wake up and stir and then make those noises like and he'll get pissed off. So at that point it's like you pick your battles. You want to fucking sleep like this? I don't care. So he's like got his face kind of on it. There's drool coming out of his mouth and he's got his one arm draped over and just hanging. And yeah, he looks like a fucking drunk. So then when we take him out, like we go for walks during the day and stuff, just so that he'll get comfy in the stroller and fall asleep. And then you just keep moving for like an hour and a half. Hopefully he sleeps the whole time and gets a good rest. But then you get the looks. Because automatically you're somebody with a stroller. So they're like, oh, I gotta get a good look at this baby. Babies are so cute. And especially like dad. Because generally the role is given to mom. Like, oh, mom does all baby stuff. So that's just like an unfortunate either, you know, stereotype of how things are supposed to be. Oh, mom takes care of baby, so dad's doing it. That's different. And you know, I want to help out with my baby. I want to spend time with my baby, and I want to give her time to fucking chill out when it's very visible that she needs a nap, you know, like that's it. So then it's like, oh, you get like, I'll get people come specifically over just to be like, oh, daddy's such a good whatever, like, and I'm just kind of like, oh yeah, great, but the fucking baby's sleeping, like, get out of here. So then they want to look at the baby, and then they see him passed out like fucking Barney Gumble. Too much milk. And then they give you this look like you're an awful human being. It's like, yeah, well, you try putting him in the proper position. They look at you like you don't take care of your baby. It's like, look, we tried. Okay, the baby won. The baby calls the shots here. There's that look of disgust and judgment, and just like, ugh. And it comes like that. They were smiling and giving you the like, oh, parent. You parent. Let's see little bundle of oh, you monster. Like, it's such a 180. But also like, fuck them. You know, you didn't even have to look at my baby. You chose. But the judgment is strong, and I get it. Like, it's hard not to. But even if you were a parent and then you see this parent, it's hard not to just be like, oh yeah, you're the worst. You're the worst. How could you do that? Because everybody's got their different way that they're gonna go about things with their kids, you know. This is just a matter of like, we physically cannot do anything else with him. He will not let us. He will wake up and fight and cry. So fuck it. This is how he sleeps. Eventually, you know, we'll go up a little hill or he'll hit a bump and kind of fling backwards, and then he's out in a deep enough sleep, so he just stays that way. And that's it. But today, oh my god. So here's the flip side to me being like, fuck you judging me. So there was this awful mom at the mall today. I know. The irony on this is not lost to me, so, but man, the girl couldn't have been more than 2. And like, this mom was with her other, like, you know, hashtag teen mom friends. And she's like yelling at her little girl because the little girl was asking, like, you know, she's kind of behind, and the mom is like walking forward ahead of like the group of the other 2 with strollers and her daughter. and she's just like yelling at the kid, and the kid's just kind of like, you know, clearly wants to go check something else out or whatever, and she's full on screaming. Like, if it was like an older child, you know, and they know what they're doing and they have the capacity to like understand why you're so mad, that maybe, you know, like we've had a similar kind of thing where it's like, okay, we're fed up with Julia acting this way and stalling and, you know, not listening and everything, but she's 10, so she should know better. This little girl was like 2 years old, and the mom's like screaming at her and being like, get up, no, we're not going, you behave right now, blah blah blah. And then the girl drops her hat, and she picks the hat up. She's like, that's it, it's going in the garbage, you lost everything today, like I'm taking your stuff, throwing it in the garbage, and we're not going to the park, we're not doing fucking anything. She's just screaming at this fucking baby, basically, and I was just mortified, obviously. And that's where it's like that line, you know, like there's people looking at me because our baby's asleep in what looks like is an uncomfortable position, and they're like, oh, you're disgusting. And then I'm looking at this person who, you know, clearly had a baby just for the Instagram picture opportunities, you know, and nothing else. And she's just screaming at her fucking tiny child who has no understanding of the situation or what's going on or how they should be properly acting. A child that age, if they're not behaving, you can literally just pick them up. You don't want her to slow you down and go the wrong places in a fucking public mall? Pick her up. End of story. Don't fucking scream at her and tell her that you're throwing her things in the garbage and basically grounding her from going to the park because she's been behaving badly. She's behaving exactly how a fucking 2-year-old is going to. The child behaving badly in this situation, unfortunately, ma'am, is you. So, hate to break it to you, sugartits@gmail.com, but you're the shit in this situation. So there it is. That's my rant about parenting and judgment. When it should apply, when it shouldn't. Obviously, my story is biased because I felt like, no, we shouldn't be judged. But I look at something like that and I'm like, oh, fuck you. You're shit. The duality of parenting and parental judgment. And it's a hard thing and it's a weird thing, because obviously, you know, like, you're gonna either have friends that have kids, or you're gonna like meet other adults because your kids become friends, or it kind of becomes both, you know, like where it's like, oh, like we met because our kids are friends and we're becoming friends, you know. And that creates a whole new set of problems that, you know, you never really think about when you're just like, ugh, it's hard enough to just enjoy being around my friends and not finding reasons to, you know, be upset with them over things, or just be kind of like put off by things that they do, because people are people and everybody's different, and, you know, not everybody is gonna act 100% according to your fucking guidebook all the time. That's a fact. The sooner you realize that, you know, it gets a little easier to deal with sometimes. But a whole new facet is that parents are going to parent their children differently. And if you want to be friends and you want your kids to be friends, well, that is going to, you know, there's going to be a perfect storm situation where you're like, my God. all these values that we don't see eye to eye on, and just assumed that we wouldn't have a moment where these things converge. No, that's you're gonna run into problems. Because if their kid is doing something a certain way, or being a dick to your kid, and then they're just kind of like brushing it off, and you're like, I want to say something, but you know, I don't want to be rude, and you discipline your own child your own way, but to a point, because then I start getting mad, and I'm like, okay, your kid's being a dick, and then you're also being an apologist for your kid being a dick.
Do not lose your touch.
Like I take exception to the you know, your feelings are the most important thing kind of parenting, of like openly express yourself kind of thing, because that you're gonna run into trouble with your kids just being like, well, my feelings are hurt, and therefore like that's the most important thing. And it's like, well, if you act according to that, what about my feelings when you're being a dick to me and feeling like you're justified? Because, I'm in a bad mood. That's... I take exception to that. And then what happens? Now you're just like in this awkward situation where the two parents are clearly like, ugh, and the kids are in a bad situation, and they're like, ugh. It's like, oh man. Yeah, the colliding of parental values. Never really thought that was gonna be something. I mean, like, you see it, like that's a regular thing on sitcoms or whatever, right? Oh, we're gonna be best friends, or our kids are friends, and then you have like a play date, and then you're like, fuck these people. Ha 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 ha. The canned laughter goes wild. But then you're like, oh shit, things like this happen in real life, man. Oh, I walked right into that one. Jump out of the way. Oh, there we go. Sorry, I thought I thought it was on the up button, and it was just a piece of my hardened thumb. Oh, just get more out of the way, more. So they can, I think it's silly. I mean, it would be a bit much it would be a bit too forgiving if they could hit each other with the lasers, but the fact that they have friendly fire for their charging attacks, but not for their guns, just, it is silly. But I appreciate the, you know, maintaining some semblance of difficulty. If it was physical charging attacks and guns, ranged weapons, that would be like a bit much. Hey, he's right. Hey, what? Oh. Ugh. Ugh. I hate those charging attacks because they happen so frequently. They have just enough of a power up to them that you can tell that they're coming, but you can't always react quick enough to get out of the way properly. And even if you think you're getting out of the way, it takes up so much space on both sides of the plane that they're on. That you're like, okay, I should be safe. And then your sprite gets hit on that magical invisible box. And you're just like, fuck. Ma. Okay. Gear up, mother blocker. Fuck. Oh. And then there's 2 towards the bottom? Nope. I really want to practice this one. There actually is a bonus stage practice option on the menu. I keep saying I'm gonna do that so I can get a bit of a better head start on some of the more difficult characters, but Van Hoosenhorf, Zach. Oh, hello, Benz. Oh, that Benson boy. Van time. Let's try and keep all 14 lives on this one, shall we? I feel like he's fast enough and he's got a good jump attack that we can probably do pretty good on Chrome Dome. Like, Chrome Dome's attacks in general are just his ridiculous leg movement. And, like, he jumps around, but mainly his attack is just that move where he squats and extends his sexy-ass robo-leg at you. Also, this guy sucks. Come on! Come on! Wabba! That was dumb. Control your jump, Stan. What? I'm sorry, what? Just fell through the fucking van? Wanna explain to me? What the G's this is all about? Okay, fuck you guys. So like for the Turtles, Turtles 2 and Turtles 3, since they're Konami games, is it possible to use the Konami code to give yourself more lives? Asking for a friend. Just because, like, I would like to play through the series just to have it. Not necessarily just for the skill value of, like, oh, I beat the game. Although I would like to, but... like, they're very difficult games. They really are. You know, it's, only 3 continues, so it is that kind of, like, you just gotta know what's coming, you gotta be really, really good, and you can't die on the first 5 levels, basically. Whoa, okay. Yep, no, that's totally normal. Those are the types of situations that you ignore as much as possible while you're in them, and then you have a nervous breakdown later. Hey, Silver, good to see ya. Catch these hands. I'm a regulation Euro football soccer net for hands like that. Don't you worry. Whoa. But yeah, if I could get a way to just for the playthrough, just to see the whole game and just, you know, have a good recording of it on stream and on the channel, that would be nice. But they are notoriously hard games, so I feel like to properly do that without a code, I would kind of have to work on it for a little bit. But you know, I've been playing this for a week straight. Over and over and over again, just trying to beat it with different characters. So I could probably make do with TMNT 2 and 3. But that's for another time. We'll take a Turtles break at some point this week just to kind of maybe try something like DuckTales or something. Those Disney Capcom games are just so clutch. How you been? You played 12 hours of GTA. 12 hours a day for a week. Well, I mean, it's a game where you absolutely could. This has been like 2 to 3 hours a day. Just like a playthrough and generally like one game over. If I was playing it for 12 hours a day, I'd have advanced arthritis in my hands for sure. What about a Bit Hero stream? I have been thinking about it. It's just that, well, I guess it is a niche market, so the people that are interested would be very interested. So it's not out of the realm of possibilities. I do play it on my phone, but I know it wouldn't be too hard to get it on the computer. My boyfriend is tired of his parents, so he's been staying at my house and played GTA with me. That's fun. Sleepovers and video games are what it's all about. And I mean, what's summer vacation without a little bit of game marathoning? Like, I would still, even well into college and even, well, I mean, not even, pretty recently, just have days where it's like, you know what? I'm just gonna stay in my underwear, have a pizza delivered to my house, and just play, like, I don't know, Final Fantasy 12 for like 15 hours. This adult, very adult making adult decisions about how to adult. So I think actually having streaming be a part of it, I almost feel there's like a weird guilt or a need to kind of separate that and be like, if I'm gonna game, I'm gonna do it on stream so that I have the recording and that there's a potential for someone to join me. Like, trying to start games, like I did take a bit of a break. And then I was like, oh, you know, like I'll play games, and then I would start a game and be like, I feel like I'm wasting this opportunity if I'm not having this on stream. So that was like a big motivation to get back into it again. And well, I can't stay in underwear. I have male roommates. Just put up a tent. This is the underwear gameplay tent. No boys allowed. Woo! Oh shit. So we're looking in really good shape. I think we'll be able to clear Zach for tonight, which is awesome. And then we can get in a little Final Fantasy. Oh shit! As long as I don't keep making stupid mistakes, because I'm impatient. That's so sketchy. Yeah, well, life's sketchy. So, what's any different? Die. Evil, totally believable boss situation here. Come on. I would like to be able to do this without being killed, but there's just so much crap going on. And his weapon is so weak. There we go. Ooh, pizza! Pizza my bones! Oh! I keep asking people what their plans are for Canada Day in an ironic attempt to make a joke, because I know that if you're not in Canada, it means nothing to you. Those were some really actually bizarre sounding fireworks. I hope that wasn't a gun. Because people like they're blowing stuff up in Canada when it's Canada Day. Our fireworks aren't nearly as insane as what's legal in a lot of the states, but people just get a lot of fireworks, and they're relatively cheap, and they're literally in every corner store. So what if I am in Canada? Well, okay. Next obvious question, I'll take the bait. Are you in Canada?
Are you in this country right now?
The call was coming from Canada. Oh my god, no. If you're from Kenora, I'm sorry. We drove through it on our way to other parts of the country. I'll say that about Kenora. Oh, I'm from Kenora. What'd you like about it? The fact that I was able to drive through it without incident. If you know nothing of Ontario geography, Kenora is the last point on the map, pretty much. It's the last like actual city before you get into Manitoba. You're Canadian? Question mark? Oh my. Not in Canada. Ah. So you're an expat. Or maybe you just say you're Canadian and you use a VPN so that you can get those sweet, sweet treasures. Those internet treasures. Well, if that's true, then I'm sure you might have some plans for Canada Day. Like, not displaying your maple leaf flag anywhere in America because people will be like, "You're a terrorist!"
You don't like it, you can get out.
I was saying earlier how, like, pretty much every Canada Day party I've been to as, like, an adult has had somebody that's, like, not from Canada at the party, and everybody is overzealously like, "Wow, like, I'm so glad you're here and can be a part of this. Like, do you need a beer? Can I get you something? Would you like to smoke this hash?" And Canada Day very much is represented by people from Canada finding the person at the party that's not from Canada and just being as nice to them as possible. This is the most Canada Day thing you can possibly do. "Oh, you're not from here? Dude, let's get fucking wasted. On me." It's Canada Day in a nutshell. But my buddies are... well, my buddy and his lady friend have a nice place down in the East End of Hamilton. And so they're throwing a big backyard barbecue. I'm Canadian and an Alaskan tribe. I don't know. We have a look, and I don't know my family history, and I'm in London, so we would still get wasted. Oh, excellent. Well, I'm learning new stuff about my audience all the time. And I mean, that's like legit Canadian. Like your family was way here first. So, I mean, Canada Day probably means a lot different things to your family and ancestors. I felt bad because when it was like the bicentennial for Canada, it's like 2000. What was it? 2018. It was like, yeah, 200 or 150 years, sorry, of Canada. Let's celebrate. And I was like, yeah, you know what? Let's celebrate. And then like the indigenous population started reminding us that they were here first and we committed horrible, horrible atrocities to get this land from them. I was like, oh, right. Ooh. So I wasn't so Canada 150 after that, but I mean, I'm proud of what we are now, and I'm proud of what we're trying to do, but dude, Canada has a really dark, awful past that we like to forget about because we're so friendly now. Look at the introduction page in Lagu. You can learn my ugly face. Oh,
We can never marry, John.
that's right. There's an introduction page. I was looking through that briefly.
Yes, we can, my
Gotta do one myself.
Switch me with another baby.
Oh, John.
Oh, Marsha.
It's so true to life.
I love this. It's 4 a.m. here? Holy shit. Oh yeah, London, I guess. Well, top of the morning. Greenwich Mean Time and what not? I talk like that because you can't get to me to punch me in the face and make me stop being awful. Oh yeah, the freedom to stay up and play video games all night. Enjoy that. It's a sweet, treasurable thing. Top of the morning, as you Canadians say. Oh, thank you. It's that very polite, like, you did something for me in my culture. Very respectful. Thank you. It would be like taking a shot of like scotch, pouring a shot of like Scotch whiskey or rye. Sorry, rye. Scotch is Scottish. We got some good Scotch distilleries here, but there's like specifics on what makes a Scotch and what makes a rye. My buddy Leroy can tell you all about it. He's like become whiskey snob in the last few years just because he loves his booze so much. I mean, I have no one country to me. No one to control me. I'm my own parent. Well, somebody's got to be the parent. Yeah. I'll take that shot of whatever I have in the house. I'm totally not 16. All right. I'll let John Twitch know. Yeah. The way I see it is, you know, I was probably, you know, you're 16, you're probably sneaking out, doing things, whatever. That's just part of teenaging a little bit. The parents need to kind of have like enough of the freedom that you can kind of do those things and sneak around. And I mean, 16 might be a bit young. Of course, I was doing very bad things at 16, but as a parent, I'm gonna play dumb for a few things because kids got to get out and make their own mistakes, because you don't want your kid to be that kid that you knew in college who lived such a sheltered life that now they can't handle being on their own, and they can't party, and they make a mess of themselves and really put themselves and everybody else at risk. Haha, I have an apartment. My parents are in Wisconsin. Ah. Off to acquire some quality cheese from the area. I think they have some good breweries there as well. Whoa. Okay. He freezes up pretty good when he does that special attack. But then he sticks his wiener out like that and it makes me uncomfortable. Whoa. Oh, if you know my past and all, you'd understand who I am. I've been on my own since I was 11. Wow. Yeah, Milwaukee has Miller Lite. Okay, besides Miller Lite. Miller Lite is barely beer. As a Canadian, we make fun of American beer pretty hard because it's not overly great. Like, I have 6 Bud Light in my fridge only because that's the beer I drink in the summer, because it's so light that I can drink it and not get, like, sick in the heat. That is why I drink it. If I'm gonna drink actual beer, let's see, what would I drink? I don't even know. There's some really good, what's the one? Collective Arts in Hamilton, there's a really good brewery. And for a craft brewery, they actually do some really good tasting beer. I find a lot of times when it's like small breweries and they're trying interesting things, trying to really explore the space and, you know, like break the bounds of what it means to be a beer. But then you get fucking hipster ass motherfuckers cutting pieces of their beard and putting it in the batch. That's a real thing. The beer is called beard. And every batch of beer has the brewmasters snipping a piece of their giant hipster beard into the batch of beer. That's just the fucking world we live in right now. Oh, okay, yeah, they've got their breweries. They've got their breweries. I remember, so years and years ago, there was a giant Molson brewery just outside of the city of Barrie. Barrie's not a very big town. It's probably like 100,000 people at most. But it's like an hour north of Toronto. So it's commutable, right? But the Molson brewery was there for years, employed tons of people. It was a massive beer factory. And so I think it was like years and years ago, and it shut down. Probably like 20 years ago, which was huge. I think maybe like one of the American beer companies, I believe it was like Anheuser-Busch, bought Molson. So now our Canadian beer dynasty is over. But the Molson plant was dormant for a while. It was just this giant empty brewery. It's like huge space. And people would just drive by it on the highway and be like, look at that. They used to make beer in there. That building's fucking huge and totally abandoned. Except it wasn't. For years, people set up shop in there to grow weed. And I'm not talking like 6 plants. Thousands of plants. When they finally found the place, I don't even think they ever arrested anybody for it. That's the thing. They were in there for years. I can't remember if they arrested anybody, but like somebody like complained, or it could have been as silly as like they noticed that it was drawing power somehow. Like they hadn't taken it off the grid, and then someone finally looked one day and was like, "Hey, this giant building that nobody's been occupying for a few years, it's drawing quite a bit of power." And there was a massive hydroponics setup and like thousands and thousands of marijuana plants. So that was something crazy that happened a few years ago. Gosh, I can't even, I think I was still in high school when that happened. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Dead would not appreciate that language, but who gives a shit? Like I said, hey, there's no censored asterisks. This isn't world chat. It was a bit of a shit show today. I kind of caught some of that. People were like freaking out, and then people were getting banned, like, or not banned, but muted like crazy. And then Stoned was super pissed because they got charged for like $20 for that pouch, but he didn't buy it and didn't have any of his banking stuff hooked up to the game. It was kind of a shit show. Exactly, we can talk about dick and they can't. That's right. Today's episode of Dan Plays Video Games is brought to you by Whale Penis. Whale Penis. You're gonna suck off a whale, make sure it's a Shuggy brand whale dork. Shuggy brand whales will tap you on the head for courtesy before they finish. Alright, and that's probably as much as I'm gonna tempt the gods. We won. Just some dumbass mod went against terms. Not a warning, just a ban. Holy shit. Ridiculous. Yeah, I caught some of that today, and I was like, okay, well, everyone seems really mad in guild chat and world chat, so I'm just gonna put my phone down for now. I put in some contribution. I ran out some of my badges and tokens and stuff. I'm just gonna try and enjoy the day. Just keep my head buried. And when Stone is pissed, you know something's wrong. Yeah. Well, his bit hero's name is very stoned. So this guy, he embodies chill for the most part, but that's why I was so surprised. I saw all the swearing and the caps and everything, and then I saw it was his name, and I was like, wait a second. So I started scrolling back through the chat to see what was going on. It's like, what is up? Yeah, I got in the devs sent us mods a message about it. Jeez. You know Stoned. I know Stoned. Stoned. Yeah, we chat often about music and stuff. I was trying to convince him to start a YouTube channel or something about growing weed, because he was just like talking about like he wants to find a way to go into business for himself and not have to work 9 to 5. And I was like, creating content, man. Like, what do you know about? It's like, I don't know. Like, I just love weed. And I'm like, well, there you go. Just start a YouTube channel where you talk about growing and cultivating plants. There's so much to know about it. You'd have infinite content. Something isn't right. So Jupio sent a mod group chat about needing to warn people instead of being a bitch like that mod, who won't be named, Dude, ask him about me. I think he hates me. I'll see what I can do. Oh, these gotta love Mega Man style. Hi. Fuckers. No. Why are you this way? It's like my control just had a complete stroke. I'll try and nonchalantly breach the subject. Hey, so like, whatever, like not a big deal. What do you think about Oh yeah, no, I mean, just between you and me. Oh, come on, you. Scratch. Hey, it's a Scratch. Oh, it's such a squirrel. Why? Why you this way? Dance with me, rodent from tree. Do you have your stream in the background? I hear it. That's weird. Hold on. Do I have my stream in the background? Oh, for cock's sakes. So like Silver, she's like a bitch, right? Oh, try and trap them into a... lead the conversation into a way to try and drain negative comments out. That's some Mean Girls shit right there. Oh my god. Silver's just such a twat. The way she like doesn't coordinate her armor with the rest of the guild. Am I right? Oh yeah. Just like distractedly answers and like, yes, I knew it. I knew it. Excuse me while I brute force my way out of this so I don't have to use any skill. I decided, so like I had basic designs for shirts, for like the brand and stuff, but I've made the logos look better, just kind of like made them pop a little better, so I gotta redesign the shirts, and I want to have branded t-shirts for the channel that say brute force no skill, just because I keep saying that. That's been like my mantra through most of the, well, every Mega Man stream that I've done. I started so much drama in the main BH Discord. Oh jeez. Yeah, I noticed actually it seemed like it was kind of quiet for the past little while. I didn't really have time to scroll through. Was this like today, or was this like the mod team hates me? Okay. Get out of here. Fuck! Oh! There's a pizza right here. Oh no, there's not. I would have died. Okay. So, more and more you're sounding... I want a whale dick shirt. Just have a picture of it and say like, here be monsters. It's like a ridiculously specific, obscure joke from our stream. But if we keep referencing it, then it'll become our very own meme. We can build it up. Oh, this is great. Memes. It's how you get your stream making profitable merchandise to hawk. Yeah, there we go. This is ridiculous. So, his weapon looks like it should be reaching. I'm just having a bit of trouble with this here. More than I should, for sure. People don't chat because of the mod team. I'll send you a link to Derpy's Reddit. It's pretty fucking stunning. Yeah, that's too bad. I usually avoid world chat, although I do like checking it every once in a while before they do a server restart, when they have that warning every week. So just every once in a while there's somebody that tries to troll the new players and like tell them that their characters are gonna be erased because the server's being reset. It's mean, but it's funny. Hi. Hi-ya-ya-ya. This fight is not going the way that I envisioned it would. I've been having quite a bit of success with this character the entire game, and then I get to this, and my strategy for fighting him has to be totally different than everybody else's. But I think this is working. I say that every reset. That's hilarious. It's funny. Cause like the first time I actually saw that, I kind of freaked out a bit. And then I happened to look in world chat because I was like, okay, like what's going on? Somebody said that. I was like, oh no. Oh, my character. And yeah, obviously it's people just being dicks like yourself. Yeah. Oh yeah. I got that turtle cred. And now we power through the final battles. I'm an ass, alright. Yeah, well, you know. Gotta have an ass. It's just a part of it. Keeps things interesting. Should be able to get through this without too much trouble. 11 lives. And we've got a quick character, so I think we can mostly avoid damage. It's 11:23 right now. Here in sunny beaches of Canada. So I'll still be able to put in a little time on Final Fantasy as well. I think if we just aim to do the waterfall dungeon, keep it nice and light. Ooh. I gotta double check what spells I gotta buy my wizards now that we've got the class change. Yeah. It's just funny because it's like, oh, there's these endgame spells that you can finally get, but then most of them, it's like, well, don't buy them, they're a waste of money, or they're glitched and they don't work. It's just the magic of original NES Final Fantasy. Just so amazing. This spell is $80,000. Well, I've only got $150,000, so... But it seems important, so I'll get it. And then you go to use it, and then you're like, I feel like this doesn't do anything. And then you read a guide, and it's like, that's because it doesn't do anything. The spell's glitched. You wasted your money. It just will never work on an NES cartridge playthrough of the game. What level are you in BH? Gosh, gotta be 280, 286, 287, I think. Pushing that 300. I can't wait. Joining the Sparta Club. I've just got into like where you can see in the guild, like on the contribution chart, because I'm a relatively new member. Like I've been in for a few months, but I had the first guild that I was in, and then one person left, and then that person left, and they were like, hey, you've been pretty active, like I've got an offer, would you like to take over the guild? I was like, yeah, sure. So I led my own guild for a little while, but then the quality of the stock kind of went down. We lost some good players and then never really got them back, so I accepted an offer from another guild, and I was like, all right. And then the guild leader quit the game and left, and so we couldn't do anything. And nobody could be the leader, and we couldn't spend any of our points. I know at some point a mutiny button shows up so you can kick that person, but I was like, fuck this, there's an expedition event coming up soon. So I happened to see, I think it was actually Lady Midna who made a post in the world chat, and I replied to it and I was like, yeah, like I'm totally down. And then she left for a while shortly after, and Deadfall took over. You feel like you betrayed Lagu. Yeah, you know what? Like, I'll say this is the third or fourth guild that I've been in, and this one is head and shoulders better than any of the other ones I've been in. I mean, on the heels of that statement, I'm thinking now, like, sorry to be like, oh yeah, it's so great, why'd you leave? But it's a good guild. I actually do remember, like, you were in guild chat a lot, I remember that, and I recall your departure. I know there was a few players that left kind of at the same time. We love our Midna. Does anyone ever talk about me in guild chat? I think actually somebody might have mentioned you today. Although now that I'm on the Discord, it might have been the Discord. It's like all blending together. Too many chats. Too many chats for this old man. Too many chats on the dance floor. Too many chats. Now I'm leaving TB12 for Lagu once there is a spot. Well, we'll be happy to have you back. Come on, Krang, motherfucker. Urgh. There's a waterfall full of robots waiting for me in the next game, boys. So if we could hurry this up. You know, like, the story of Final Fantasy for NES, like the original first, the one that started the whole series, I feel like it doesn't really get talked about nearly enough. The actual, like, content of the story is so weird, and it's got a lot going on in it. Like, it covers a wide range of things and bases, and it's kind of amazing. Yes, Discord is where I'm at, but shh, Dead and Midna don't know. I won't tell if you don't. Hiya! Yeah. Well, the Discord is how we've, you know, happened to get another viewer out of you, so that's awesome. I appreciate that. even staying up late to hang and watch me play Retro Turtles games and talk about whale dicks. It's just where it's at. Ugh. You're... Cheer. No. You know, you gotta think about... This is an adult male ninja striking like an 11-year-old boy with a sword. Do you think there's any sort of, you know, at least like hesitancy about this? Like, I know he's a bad guy. He's done some bad things. But the Shredder I know from the cartoon, he's had some pretty crazy plans, but... Oh, they don't know you're coming to Lagu after. Okay. Well, I'll keep it a surprise, so everyone will be totally shocked. Hey! Yeah! Okay, Shreddy. Good, good. Whole wheat Shreddies. Come on, mother. Oh, you dick snack. Alright. Ow! Okay. Krang and Shredder round 2.
You haven't seen the last of me. This is only the beginning.
He's right. This boss fight goes on for entirely too long. I felt like I left family, so I'm back. Well, good. It is a very friendly place. The guild members are very helpful and talkative in like a positive way. That kind of makes it like I don't mind chatting with them actually. They're all really, really interesting and fun people. Nice Hadouken there, Super Shredder. Hiya. He's got some moves that are very reminiscent of some Street Fighter 2 characters. Like, it seems kind of weird, I don't know. Oh my god, my thumb is getting so tired. Just because your character is fast doesn't mean it makes it easier to move. Oh, good. Waste that special, please. Oh, yes. He was such a spry little fella for a baby boy. Come on. This is definitely a fucked up situation. Like, you know, obviously the last fight for sure. But then, so now our adult male ninja hitting a child with a sword as like, you know what? I'm not gonna let this child beat me. I'm gonna pour this ooze all over myself so that I can turn into a mutant with superpowers. Now that child will respect me. I feel like this is the worst babysitting story ever.
Go to bed.
No!
I swear to God I'll kill you, kid.
No, I'm a Ninja Turtle. See? I got a backpack and a golf club.
Oh, why did I ever leave the army? For this. 3 square meals a day and all the travel I could handle.
Shredder pining for the good old days. Come on. There we go.
All this getting very monotonous.
Alright, this sounds really fucked up. It is. For sure. And now we've got Metal Gear Krang. Let's see if I can clear my throat and do my best solid Snake impression.
Colonel. The brain. He's riding Metal Gear. Otacon.
I love the dialogue in the Metal Gear games because it's usually like, you know, you've got your your intercom conversations between somebody and Snake, and it's just like a giant information dump. Snake, I have something to tell you about the nuclear capabilities of Metal Gear. Metal Gear. Or it's like, Snake, these nanomachines inside your blood help us to monitor all of your health statistics. And then it'll just be like, nanomachines. And just like repeat the last thing that they said. Or that. Snake, I know it's going to be a tough job, but if anybody can do it, it'll be you. And it'll just be like the 3 dots. He's just like, cheer up, Snake. Maybe you'll grow to like the taste of raw snake meat.
Colonel.
Oh, I'm not even hitting him. Perfect. Okay. There we go. We found the sweet spot. It's just hard to see whereabouts I am, so I don't know if I'm in a spot where I'm gonna get hit. If anyone can do it, it's you. Yeah, that's about 30% of the scripting of the dialogue in Metal Gear games. Then of course there's Raiden. It's a whole other can of worms altogether. Colonel, what aren't you telling me? Just got that like ridiculous dorky voice. Who are you really?
Raiden. Just do as I ask. I'll handle the rest.
That guy sounds like Solid Snake. Colonel, there's something you aren't telling me.
Raiden. Use the action button in front of a ladder to climb it. Remember, this is a solo sneaking mission. Try not to fart in your sneaking suit. Whoa!
Oh! Alright. Oh, see, he's got his fighting game moves, which are far faster than even the fastest moves of a child. I'm like physically struggling. I'm sorry, kid. I should have protected you better. Actually, fuck that. Where are the Ninja Turtles? I feel like they're partially responsible for your vigilante turn here. Brute force, no skill. Brute force, no skill. I wonder what T-shirt Elephant would have to say if I was like, hey, I got the new designs for the next shirt I want to put up in the store that you guys have to make and then ship to people. And it's just like a big curly whale dick. And it just says, here be monsters underneath it, as if it's... And then they're like, okay, what is this? And I'll just be like, it's a kraken tentacle. Like, what? I don't know what the problem is. I can just feign 18th century sailor ignorance.
Why, it's a giant sea beast, it is! What's it look like? It's a giant sea monster!
And game defeat. I feel like I'm at an all-time low. I'm eating McDonald's, drinking Red Bull, and watching you and my BF play games. It sounds like a friggin' great Saturday. It's party time, dudes. Do they deliver pizza to this thing? Michelangelo. All right. We did it. Is the music? Yeah, the music cuts out every time now. That's so sad. This is like every day for me. Yeah, this is that moment when you realize, like, oh, no, I gotta find another job. You're just staring at the Big Mac in one hand and the greasy French fries in the other. Like, we've pushed this far enough. We've had some fun. All right. Gonna turn the volume back down to about, that should do. I think it was like minus 14. Yeah. All right. I will take a brief break to get some water, and we'll get the actually I'll change this image here so I remember to change it. Properties. Going through the files, checking out my shit. Now, yes. Where is it? There we go. Boom. You got me shaking like a boom boom. Why are you like this, Streamlabs? Why are you so weird? Oh my goodness. Alright. We'll get a BRB happen. And we'll get some Final Fantasy going in about 5 minutes. So hang tight.